Hello and welcome to this instalment of Talkin Trim. I'm Jonathon Skinner and today we're looking at some partly trimmed E-Type Roadster bucket seats along with the associated hardware and some seat covers. So it's a bit of a follow-on video from an earlier video I did showing the hardware on the seat frames, as these bucket seats are quite notoriously hard to fit and a bit confusing, shall we say. So I thought we're in the process of trimming these seat covers up, so I thought I'd do a quick video just kind of detailing elements of the seat foam kits, the tacking strips, diaphragms, and the actual seat covers themselves, just to give you a bit of an insight into the process of it. We're actually filming the trimming process as well, so they will be available to our customers as well, so be sure to check that out. Before I dive too much further, please be sure to read the description below, so it'll have lots of useful links to our website as well as links to associated videos that you might find useful as well, so be sure to check that out. So let's just start with the seat covers. Now I've only put one side of the seat out, cushion, backrest, which is in two parts, and the surround there. Now, cool part about these seat covers is we've actually used the official Connolly Vaumol, and we have the certificate from the Connolly Tannery to prove that there, which we give to our customers that use the official Vaumol, and it obviously says the shade, the chassis number of the car and other spec details are then upholstered by and signed off, etc. So anyone that uses Connolly, if you want one of those certificates of authenticity, then do ask and we can include it in there. But this has been done in the Vaumol blue grey. I think it's the 1960s version. They did also have a 1970s version, original colour for it. In fact, this is out of the customer's car and you can see how close the colour matches, considering obviously that's a bit faded on that one there. Obviously it's got the moquette on the back to match, and then the base covers there. Again, do be sure to check out the link below for a more in-depth video showing the seat covers for the 3.8 bucket seats, but it's got all the scrims on the back. It's worth noticing as well that the Vaumol leather is only surface dyed, so it always has this beige backing to it. Just keep that in mind. And just to clarify what we're looking at, if we look here in the book here, you've got these bucket seats which are on the Series 1 3.8 models. Now, the frames themselves, the pointier frames like these were only fitted to the Roadsters only had these pointier frames in them. However, the fixed head coupes, they did have their own version, which was a bit wider, a bit fatter. Again, see the link below for a video on that one. But some fixed heads left with the the thinner Roadster pointier frames in them. So bear that in mind. So although strictly speaking, we refer to this as a Roadster, open two-seater Roadster frame, they were fitted to some fixed head cars, whereas the fatter fixed head frames were only ever fitted to fixed head cars, if that makes sense. Anyway, these frames have been sent to us by the customer over in Holland, and we have reconditioned, stripped down, and we're going to be trimming up using obviously our plies, our foams, our covers, etc., replacing everything apart from the actual frames themselves. So just to give you a bit of an insight into it, so we've got the base molded foams here. Now they actually come like this. They're latex. They do have the holes on the bottom like the original Dunlop ones that lets air out when you sit in them, but they come in one piece. However, during the trimming process, if you want the proper job done, you actually end up slicing them to fit. So you do a slice there down the left and right sides, then you do a diagonal slice here, and it's all related to the way it's trimmed to the car with these scrims on the bottom of the covers there to get the original finish on them. So that's kind of the cushion bases in terms of the foams. You then had the plies and diaphragms. Now the diaphragms or webbings that were originally used were actually sort of 2-inch wide webbings, but we can supply pre sort of molded and formed webbings that actually offer a bit better support. So you get those bits there, and then there's also a bit on the backrest squab there. We can also supply brand new metal brackets, obviously the woodwork, and then in the frame itself you get all the tacking strips. So you get one that goes around this base bit here, another one inside here, another one around the egg circumference there, and then on the underside of the seat as well you get a couple, and they should be pot riveted on. It's one of the old pot rivets, and they should be pot riveted onto the frame before you start the process. And then the backrest element. Now this is the much more in-depth and tricky side of things, as it's done in lots of different elements, and you have lots of bits to the seat foam kit, and where they all go. So let's try and simplify this as best as possible. This piece here, you get a pair of them obviously. It goes onto the back part of the backrest there. Obviously the other frame, we haven't put it on yet, but it literally covers it over like that. So that's nice and easy there. Then the actual horseshoe egg shape element here comes in two pieces. You have the main piece, and then you have kind of the underneath bolster. And what we've done is we've only part trimmed one of these. So what you can see is you've got the underneath bolster underneath there, so it's that piece. It's glued in all the way around. Again, I have got photos and videos of this process here, so that's glued all the way around. You then glue this egg-shaped piece to the outside perimeter of the frame here, and then after this video is done, what we'll end up doing is gluing that round, and so it creates the formed piece round. Again, I will be doing a photo to show that element and a video to show that element there, so you can see the concept though. Literally you get that to turn around and tuck in to that recess area where the tacking strip sits there, and then that creates your nice neat, if I zoom out a bit, you can get the basic concept there. It creates a nice neat curved horseshoe for the seat cover there. So that's that confusing piece out of the way. And then you have the sort of inner part of the backrest squab. Now the hardware element of it's a piece of ply. It has the webbing or diaphragm as we refer to it on the back there. It has this metal clip here which again we can replace, and then it has this piece here which sits about an inch up from the bottom there. And the principle of that is that clip sits underneath there, it tucks in there, and then that offers a nice lumbar support for the lower part of the backrest there, and it follows obviously the curvature of the framework itself there. Then the foam elements of this, it's kind of consists of three pieces as laid out here. You have that piece there, which is very obvious, it sits up there. Then you have these two pieces. Now what happens is that one gets laid in roughly around that sort of area. This one sits on top, and it actually gets kind of tacked and glued down and bent over during the trimming process. Now what we've done here is we part trimmed one of them. So you can see here we've tacked down the piping in the middle there, and then that's going to allow us to, when we get to it, keep the foam in place, glue the foam in place, and then that will sit in there like that. That underneath piece will be glued, and then this will get wrapped around and it will curve. Sorry, very hard to do with one hand. Then that gets pulled round and tacked round, and it will create a nice smooth bump there. Obviously my handiwork there doesn't really illustrate that very well, as it's very hard to do one-handed, but you can see here this is the original one out of the car from the 60s. Hard to see in there, but yeah, that's the way it's done. Now you can see the curvature of it all. That's the original style of the webbing as well there. So yeah, that's the basic principle there, and then that obviously goes fully trimmed in there. So that is the overview pretty much of those seats in terms of the covers, as well as the setup for the hardware and the foams. I think I've covered my bases there. Hopefully you found it useful. Please do make any comments below if I've missed anything, or if you've got any further questions. But of course, do contact me directly if you want to buy any of these parts from us. We do lots of trimming of seats in-house now to get the best results. So if in doubt, always come to us and we will sort it all for you, and you literally have a set of seats ready to bolt into the car, done to the highest level possible. Thanks for tuning in. Please remember to like, subscribe and share with other classic car enthusiasts, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.